The left-wing media is collapsing, and it is spectacular. Notorious conspiracy theorist CNN is set for, quote, hundreds of layoffs, including on-screen talent. Associated Press is laying off 8% of its global workforce. Rumors are floating that MSNBC could even be sold for parts as ratings plunge 50% since the election. So why is left-wing media collapsing? Easy, the audience does not trust them. We just came off the mother of gaslights trying to convince the American people that Kamala is joyful and competent, while Donald Trump will literally dictate your uterus. Americans are not buying it. Gallup reports that American trust in media has fallen just 31%. As recently as 2004, most Americans did trust the media. In the 1970s, 3/4 trusted the media. This matters because for decades, media controlled the narrative. The gaslight industrial complex has so terrified conservatives that whatever backbone they once had is long gone. From government shutdowns to spending cuts to welfare for the able-bodied to immigration amnesty, the GOP would campaign right, then flip left, or kiss their jobs goodbye from a vengeful media. So those days are over. And how did we get here? In the beginning of our republic, newspapers were party organs, essentially political ads. By 1900, they grew into an oligarchy of three men: Joseph Pulitzer, left-wing Democrat; Randolph Hearst, who started left but turned conservative; and Frank Gannett, a conservative. As their power grew, the government started censoring the news, with Woodrow Wilson using World War I as the excuse. He threatened Hearst with the Espionage Act and Sedition Act and intercepted conservative newspapers using the post office. In the 1930s, FDR did it again, censoring anti-New Deal newspapers before the war, then using radio and TV licenses to blackmail opponents. There was literally an office of censorship. After the war, this was codified by the FCC into the so-called Fairness Doctrine that allegedly balanced coverage, but in reality amounted to a political commissar. Out of self-preservation, broadcasters took the pro-government position, meaning the Democrat position. A seminal moment was the conservative New York Times raiding the newsroom of the communist Village Voice in the 1960s. So by the end of the 60s, the media was a near left-wing monoculture, with Walter Cronkite and then Dan Rather the tip of the spear. And then the tide turned. The first wave was Ronald Reagan, who ended the Fairness Doctrine in 1987. Within a year, a small-time DJ in Kansas City decided to start talking about politics. Hundreds more followed, Rush Limbaugh into the breach. From talk radio, alternative media graduated to the internet starting in 1994. And then social media, which started in 2004 with Facebook and 2006 with Twitter. They were originally censorship-free, meaning they favored the conservative media. Of course, the empire struck back, purging conservatives starting in 2014, so mid-Obama, and ramping it up under Trump since the establishment panicked that they were losing control. That censorship, of course, was single-handedly reversed by Elon Musk, bringing us to today, where alt-media, from Twitter, now X, to Tucker and Joe Rogan, to citizen journalists on the ground in North Carolina, or in the bars with Veritas, are wiping out legacy media. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Media has been called the fourth branch of government. In many ways, it's the most powerful because it shapes the voters. The collapse of left-wing media means we are about to get a tectonic shift in America, in fact, in global politics, towards more populism, more conservatism, and a smaller and more responsive government. Read the rest of the article at profsainange.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the ratings collapse that they've been, they're down to like MSNBC is down to like 50,000 people in the 18 to 49 demo.
That is so wild.
Which is tiny, right?
It's so crazy.
It's really tiny. So I think that's happening. The Gallup organization has done polls on trust in institutions, including, media, for the last 60 years. It's been a steady slide down. And in the last, 4 years, it's fallen off a cliff. I think it's real. Oh, there's another study that came out. The kids are now watching a lot less TV. Kids are just giving up on TV.